Imagine waking up tomorrow, checking your phone, and realizing your job no longer exists. Not because you failed, not because the company went bankrupt, but because a machine replaced you overnight. Sounds extreme? Here's the terrifying part, it's already happening. And experts are warning that up to 30% of jobs could disappear in the coming years. But what most people don't realize is this isn't just about losing jobs, it's about what happens after. Because when millions of people stop earning, they also stop spending. And when spending stops, the entire economy begins to crack. In this video, I'm going to show you the hidden chain reaction that almost nobody is talking about. Not the headlines, not the hype, the real financial domino effect that could hit middle-class families the hardest. And if you think this won't affect you, stay with me, because by the end, you might see your entire financial future differently. Now imagine this, a man in his 40s, working a stable office job for 15 years. Never missed a paycheck. He has a mortgage, kids in school, maybe some savings. Then one day, AI software replaces his entire department. At first he thinks, I'll find something else. But months pass. Applications go unanswered. Interviews disappear. And slowly, his savings start to drain. This isn't just his story. This becomes millions of stories at the same time. And here's where things get dangerous. When millions of people lose income at once, they stop buying things. No more new phones. No more vacations, no more eating out, and suddenly businesses start losing money. Retail stores see fewer customers. Restaurants have empty tables. Online sales begin to drop. But wait, it gets worse. Because those businesses now have to cut costs too. Which means more layoffs, more people without income, more spending cut. And just like that, a vicious cycle begins. Most people think job loss is a personal problem. But it's not. It's an economic earthquake. And earthquakes don't stay in one place, they spread. Housing is one of the first places it hit. Because when people lose jobs, they can't pay mortgages. They can't qualify for loans. Demand for homes drops. Prices start falling. And homeowners who once felt secure suddenly feel trapped. Negative equity creeps in. Fear spreads. And banks? They start to panic too. Because fewer people are borrowing. More people are defaulting. And the entire financial system begins to tighten. Now here's the part nobody wants to admit. This could happen faster than anyone expects. Technology doesn't move slowly. It moves in waves. And when that wave hits, it doesn't ask if you're ready. It just takes everything in its path. But what most people don't realize is that the real danger isn't AI itself. It's how unprepared the system is for what comes next. And in the next part, I'm going to show you exactly how this spreads into inflation, government pressure, and why the middle class could be the biggest victim of all. Now here's where things get even more uncomfortable, because the story doesn't stop with lost jobs or empty stores. It goes deeper. Much deeper. Imagine this. Millions of people out of work, businesses cutting back, housing slowing down, and suddenly the government steps in. At first, it sounds like relief. Stimulus checks, unemployment benefits, emergency programs. It feels like help is on the way. But what most people don't realize is that money has to come from somewhere. Governments don't have unlimited cash. They either print more money or borrow more debt. And both come with a hidden cost. Inflation. Let me explain. When more money enters the system without an increase in real productivity, prices start rising. Slowly at first, then all at once. Groceries get more expensive. Rent climbs higher. Healthcare costs rise. And the cruelest part? The people who already lost their jobs are now facing higher living expenses too. So even when they get financial aid, it doesn't feel like enough. It feels like running on a treadmill that keeps getting faster. And here's where things get interesting, because this creates a psychological trap that most people fall into without even realizing it. When people feel uncertain about their future, they stop spending even more. They delay big decisions. They avoid risk. They hold on to cash out of fear. And while that sounds smart individually, collectively, it makes the economy slow down even faster. This is called a demand shock, and it's one of the most dangerous things an economy can face. Businesses depend on people buying. When that stops, everything stalls. Now let me tell you a quick story. A small business owner running a local clothing store had steady customers for years. But suddenly, foot traffic dropped. Not because people don't like the store, but because they're scared. They're worried about losing their jobs next. So they stop spending on anything that isn't essential. The owner tries discounts, sales, promotions. Nothing works. Revenue drops. Bills pile up. And eventually, the store shuts down. That's one business. Now multiply that by thousands, then millions. This is how entire sectors begin to collapse quietly. Retail, travel, entertainment, even parts of banking. Because when people don't spend, banks don't earn from loans, credit cards, or investments. So they tighten lending rules, making it even harder for people and businesses to access money. And just like that, the system starts choking itself. But wait, there's something even more dangerous hiding beneath all of this. Inequality. Because while millions are losing jobs, AI is also creating massive wealth, but only for a small group of people. Tech companies grow faster. Investors in AI profit more. Highly skilled workers become even more valuable. And everyone else? They fall behind. The gap between rich and poor starts widening at a speed we've never seen before. And history has shown us when inequality rises too fast, it creates tension, frustration, instability. People start asking hard questions. Why am I working harder but getting less? Why are a few getting richer while millions struggle? And this pressure doesn't just stay in conversations, it reaches governments. Policies change, taxes increase, regulations tighten. And suddenly, the entire economic environment becomes unpredictable. Businesses hesitate to invest. Hiring slows down even more. And the cycle continues. But here's the twist that most people completely miss. This entire situation isn't just about economic. It's about human behavior. Fear spreads faster than fact. Panicked decisions multiply problems. And the real damage often comes not from the initial shock, but from how people react to it. In the next part, I'm going to reveal the surprising truth about why some people actually become richer during these crises, and the exact strategies they use while everyone else is stuck in survival mode. Here's where things take a turn that most people never expect, because while the majority are struggling, cutting back, and trying to survive, a small group of people quietly start getting richer. Not by luck, not by magic, but by understanding something most people completely ignore during crises. Let me explain. Imagine two people facing the exact same situation. Both see layoffs rising. Both see prices going up. Both feel the fear. But one reacts emotionally and the other reacts strategically. The first person pulls back completely, stops investing, keeps all their money in cash, avoids any risk. On the surface, that feels safe. But over time, inflation slowly eats away at their savings. Opportunities pass them by. And they end up stuck, not moving forward, just trying not to fall behind. Now the second person, they see the same chaos, but they ask a different question. Where is the money flowing now? Because here's the truth most people don't realize, money never disappears. It just moves. And during major shifts like AI disruption, it moves fast. It flows into new industries, new technologies, new skills. And the people who follow that flow position themselves ahead of the curve. But wait, this doesn't mean taking reckless risks or gambling everything. That's where most people get it completely wrong. The real strategy is much simpler and much more powerful. It's about adapting before you're forced to. Let me tell you a story. A man in his early 50s, working in a routine job, sees automation creeping into his industry. Instead of ignoring it, he starts learning basic digital tools. Slowly. 1 hour a day. At first, it feels uncomfortable, confusing, even pointless. But over time, those small efforts compound. When layoffs hit his company, he's not starting from zero. He already has skills others don't. He transitions into a new role while others are still searching. That's the difference. Not intelligence, not talent, timing. And here's where things get really interesting, because during economic disruptions, assets often become cheaper. Stocks drop, real estate slows down, businesses sell at discount, and while most people are too scared to act, a few step in quietly. They don't chase hype. They look for value. They think long-term while everyone else is thinking short-term survival. This is how wealth gaps widen even faster during crises. Not just because some people earn more, but because they make different decisions under pressure. Now let's talk about psychology for a second, because this is the real battlefield. Humans are wired to avoid pain, to seek safety, to follow the crowd. So when fear spreads, most people do the same thing at the same time. They panic, they freeze, they delay action. And ironically, that's what hurts them the most. Because by the time things feel safe again, the biggest opportunities are already gone. The market has recovered, prices have risen, and the window has closed. But those who understand this pattern, they move early. Not blindly, but intentionally. They prepare before the storm hits fully, and they position themselves while others are still in denial. But here's the surprising truth. This isn't just about making money. It's about survival in a changing system, because the old rules are slowly breaking. Job security is no longer guaranteed. Traditional career paths are shifting, and relying on a single source of income is becoming more dangerous than ever before. So the real question isn't, will AI replace jobs? That's already happening. The real question is, where will you be when it does? Still reacting? Still hoping things go back to normal? Or already adapting to what's coming next? Because in the final part, I'm going to break down the exact steps you can take starting today, even if you're starting from zero, to protect yourself, stabilize your finances, and stay ahead in a world where everything is changing faster than ever before. Now here's the part you've been waiting for, because everything we've talked about so far leads to one question that actually matters. What can you do about it? Not next year, not someday, but starting today. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. The people who wait for clarity are the ones who get hit the hardest. And in a world where AI is replacing jobs faster than people can adapt, waiting is the most dangerous strategy of all. So let's make this real. Imagine two futures. In the first one, nothing changes. You keep relying on one income. You assume things will somehow work out. You ignore the signs because they feel too big, too scary. And then one day your industry shifts, your income drops, and suddenly you're forced to make decisions under pressure. That's where most people end up. But in the second future, you act early. Not perfectly, not all at once, but consistently. You start by building a small financial cushion, even if it's just a few dollars a week. Because when uncertainty hits, cash isn't just money, it's time. It gives you breathing room, options, the ability to think instead of panic. Then you take the next step, you stop depending on a single source of income. This doesn't mean quitting your job tomorrow. It means slowly creating another stream. Maybe it's a simple online skill. Maybe it's freelance work. Maybe it's learning how digital systems operate. The goal isn't perfection, it's flexibility. Because in a shifting economy, the people who can pivot survive. Now here's where things get even more important. You need to understand where the world is going, not where it's been. AI isn't just taking jobs, it's also creating new ones. But those opportunities don't look like traditional careers. They reward people who learn continuously, who adapt quickly, who aren't afraid to start small and improve over time. And yes, It will feel uncomfortable. It will feel slow. You might even doubt yourself in the beginning. That's normal, because you're building something most people avoid: resilience. But wait, there's one more step that almost nobody talks about. You need to control your mindset during uncertainty, because fear will be everywhere. News headlines, social media, conversations around you. And if you absorb all of it without filtering, it will paralyze you. So instead, you focus on what you can control: your skills, your spending, your decisions. You don't ignore reality, but you don't let it control you either. And here's the twist that changes everything. The goal isn't to predict the future perfectly. It's to be ready for multiple outcomes. Because the people who survive economic shifts aren't the ones who guess right every time. They're the ones who prepare enough to handle whatever happens next. So take a moment and ask yourself honestly, if your income disappeared tomorrow, how long could you survive? Weeks? Months? Days? That answer isn't meant to scare you, it's meant to wake you up. Because the time to prepare isn't when the crisis is obvious, it's when it still feels far away. And right now, that's exactly where we are. Change is coming faster than most people expect. And while that sounds frightening, it's also an opportunity. An opportunity to think differently, to act earlier, to build a level of financial control that most people never reach. So if this video made you see things differently, don't just move on and forget it. Take one small action today. Save a little. Learn something new. Explore a new income path. Because small steps taken now can completely change where you end up later. And if you want to stay ahead of these changes, understand how money really moves, and protect your future in a world that's evolving fast, make sure you subscribe, hit like, and let me know in the comments what's one step you're going to take after watching this.